Hello and welcome to Back 4 Blood. So, I was considering doing maybe some kind of first impressions or review of this game. And I figured, well, everyone and their mum's probably going to be doing that. And so, I came up with the idea, well, I can have a chat about it while I do something a bit stupid. You know, I can do a bit of a challenge run just in the background while I'm doing this. And the challenge I'm going to be trying to do is seeing if I can actually beat the thing using just this bat. So I'm going to have a go. I've spent a bit of time getting together enough supplies and getting a decent deck together, and we'll have a look at that in a moment. I will point out as well though, just before I get started, so the bat that we'll be starting with, 9 damage. There you go, that's kind of our baseline here. If we look at the deck that I'll be using, so if you're unfamiliar with Back 4 Blood, maybe you've just, this is the first video you've seen or whatever, we have custom decks. You've got a card system, it's a deck builder. So, ones I'll be taking for this, so you've got all the unlocked cards, you can take up to 15. You can take less than 15 if you want. And actually at the beginning of the game, it only gives you, I think, 5 or 6. It's rather annoying, and I don't know why they do that. They literally just put new players at a disadvantage for no reason whatsoever, but oh well. But once you've got in, you've got a few unlocks, you'll be able to fill it out fairly quickly. The one I've got, so we're going for a melee build, we've got 50% melee damage and 5 health. The cards, by the way, show up in order, right? We will get batter up immediately, no matter what. That will be our starting card that we get at the beginning. It then gives us a choice. I'm trying to remember if it's the next 4 or 5 cards. I think it's next 5, but these cards will come up next in one big row, and then as we buy them, the next one along gets added to that list. So we won't actually be able to buy this one until we've managed to get through almost all the others, because that will show up last. So, second card. As you can imagine, it's going to be fairly important. I've put it as my second. So, we've got health, stamina efficiency, and attack speed. We've got slugger, right? Motorcycle jacket. Damage resistance. Battle lust. Heal from melee kills. Heavy attack for our melee weapon. So now, with a heavy attack, we can do much more damage, especially to the special infected in particular, but also if we just want a nice little initiator, because you, as it says there, you burst forwards and deal 2 times damage basically. So nice as an initiator to get the jump on a zombie, or to really help you do a bit of extra damage versus the special infected zombies. Right, Brazen. Melee stamina efficiency and attack speed, but we do lose some damage resistance with that. Durable. We get trauma resistance. As you play the game, and you'll notice this as we go through, you lose some of your max health every couple times that you're attacked. Basically, you'll take your normal damage and then you take trauma damage. When trauma damage builds up enough, you lose 1 max HP. And it will keep doing that, and you'll notice that our health will slowly but surely tick away. Cross trainers, basically stamina, movement speed, bit of health. Scar tissue, we take 1 less damage from all zombies, which doesn't seem like a lot, but there's a lot of zombies. They don't hit you for much anyway. However, for them, given that we've got all this damage resistance, and then on top of that they're going to hit us for 1 less, this really helps mitigate a lot of the damage from the common infected. Speaking of damage resistance, we've got a padded suit. We do lose some of our stamina efficiency. Though this gives us more stamina, more damage resistance, I've put this further down because losing that stamina efficiency is rather important. I want to make sure that I've got something like the cross trainers or brazen before we start eating away at our stamina. And superior cardio here, again more stamina, things like that. We've got body armor here for trauma resistance, so as I said, so we're going to, when you're in the thick of it, you are going to lose a lot of your max health. By mitigating that and defending against it, we should be able to keep healthy longer and therefore remember fight at the front lines as long as we can. Outside of healing and things, you can't heal past your max health unless you use temporary health. Temporary health from things like painkillers or various perk cards can actually go past your max health, but it's only temporary. It'll tick down over time. But you can heal max health back and get additional lives if you find a med station, which is like a sort of medical cabinet that's on the walls, and you use that. That will recover a fair bit of max health and give you a life back. So that's kind of the explanation as to trauma, how it works, how we're going to defend against that. Melee at the front lines, we're going to take a lot of trauma damage. Another one here where we lose a bit of damage resistance. That's why we've got those damage resistance cards in. This will give us plus 40% stamina, but we will lose some damage resistance. Vitamins give us some max health back, and hydration pack, bit of extra health at the cost of some ammo capacity. So you'll notice there's a pattern as we go through. I'm trying to start off with a few key cards that I believe are, these make it so that our melee attacks will actually hit quick, hit hard. Then we get a bit of sustain and damage resistance. Then we start getting into heavy attack to be able to deal with the bigger infected. And the thing is, all these will be choices together. So we don't have to take this third. We could take this even, but I've kind of put it in an order where I think that we get some sustain, some melee power, and then some stamina. And then as we go through those cards, we'll get more sustain, more stamina, and more damage resistance, yeah. And we just keep going through that pattern as we go through. So we don't just spec all into one stat and neglect the rest at the beginning. And that's basically going to be it. First we're going to want to buff up our melee skills. Then we'll probably be fine for a while. But then we'll take brazen once we've got a nice bit of damage resistance to complement that. And then again, just keep pumping everything up then. By the end, we should have all of these cards in play. But that's the build. Right. But as I say, I'm going to kind of go over my thoughts of the game, my experience of the beta, as well as that throughout. So that's kind of why I'm explaining the card system. I want to kind of give you an idea of the game, the state it's in at the moment. One thing worth noting as well, it does have a rarity system. As you notice, we're doing 9 damage. This is a common bat that I spawn with. We can pick up this purple one. This would spawn toward the end of the game. 19.8. Over double. So rarity matters a lot here. The melee weapons we've got to play with, we've got 4. The bat and machete are swing weapons. As you notice, we're swinging, we're swinging, we're swinging. This will hit and knock back all zombies that are directly in front and sort of to the sides. And basically, think of it as like a 180 degree arc. Everything in a 180 degree arc around me, so to the front and a little bit to the sides, will basically get knocked back. In fact, it might be a little bit smaller than a 180 degree arc, but you get the picture. So the machete doesn't have as much reach. As you can see, it's got less range, less firepower. Now you would think that less firepower means, oh, it must do less damage. According to that number, it's the same. but I can say from my own anecdotal evidence in game, it does tend to be more effective. I don't know why in this firing range it seems to do the same, and you would think, oh, then you must be better off using the bat. But as far as I can tell, the machete, anecdotally this, is more lethal, and it hits faster. The bat has more knockback. That's just my personal findings, I'm not certain. But the machete, I think, is more likely to sever limbs, the bat is more likely to knock back and stun. Now, the axes then, what are the axes? Big overhead swings. There are no different attacks apart from that special heavy attack we get as a card. But this is all we've got. There's no block, there's nothing special, we can just swing. As you'll notice, it does over 200 damage, but uses more stamina. This is basically there to kill special infected. It's rather useless against hordes because hordes tend to surround you. A single target weapon that doesn't swing as fast as the others. It'll absolutely eviscerate the zombie you hit with it, but not his, 4 mates around him. The hatchet, similar thing, less stamina use and doesn't hit as hard. That's the general gist of the melee system, and that's what we'll be using. And I think that without further ado we'll get into it, but well, just before I go, I mention the kind of unlocking system here, because getting these cards, the way that you do it, so as I say, I'm going to kind of go over my thoughts of the game while I play here, but I do want to get into it pretty quick. So these cards, it's a weird one. You start off and you unlock them in the line. So you start from the left. That would cost 45 supply points. The average amount of supplies on the standard difficulty is between like 25 and 30-ish. Well, yeah, between like 25 and 35-ish normally is what you get. You might get like 40 or so for the harder missions, but some of these, you'd have to complete one of the harder missions to get these 2 cards, they're 45 each. This one's 100. You'd have to almost complete an entire campaign to be able to afford this. And there's also these pointless cosmetics, and you're probably thinking, well, are they that pointless? Well, the only time you see this profile picture and your title and things is if you're in the same party as someone. This is the only screen that they're displayed on at the moment. Maybe it'll be different when it releases, but all I see there is just bloat added to the progression system to slow you down. And the rewards don't scale very much with difficulty, especially because there's a multiplier for each person that survives, and on harder difficulties it tends to be, 2 or 3 people or even 1 making it to the end room, to the safe room. Whereas on Survivor, the easiest difficulty, it's usually all 4. So there's usually, you're not making much more out of it, and you have to remember that harder difficulties take more time, and the result is everyone's got the incentive at the moment to go and just do the one mission in the game that's really quick, really easy to do. To just grind out survival points, supply points. Sorry. So it just seems like a weirdly incentivized way that they've done that. Which, by the way, to get some of those perks, I've had to dabble in grinding out a lot of these as well. Which, by the way, the easiest way, if you're wondering, to get supply points, subject to change, of course, it is the beta. Once you unlock the last act on survival mode, you can complete this in 2 minutes. There's also a glitch at the moment where the zombies don't spawn in most of the time, Sometimes they do, but even when they do, it's not that hard to do this. So, very easily done, 2 or 3 minutes. The loading time is as long as the time in game, but you get 23 supply points. You can crank out enough points to get one of those 100 cost cards in like 20 minutes because of waiting on lobbies and load times. We'll not be doing that. For this, we are doing a proper challenge. You'll notice as well as you get onto the harder difficulties, there's fewer checkpoints as well. So we're going to be getting started. But yeah, it does. It gives it this weird incentive. Like the way I think that it should work is that the cards at the beginning should cost a lot less. It should be 30 supply points would be an expensive one in my mind. They should be typically costing 10 or 15 or so. But then as you get further into the game, and it's giving you and I'll point this out, not all of these cards are created equal. Some of them are absolutely brilliant. There's one called Down in Front, which is when you are crouched, you do not take any form of friendly fire, nor do you deal friendly fire. It's absolutely ridiculous.
What are we waiting for?
We will be going as Holly here. Holly is easily the best character for melee. If you are doing this when the game comes out, and they've put the actual solo mode in, because that's not in at the moment, God knows why, but it's not. Wouldn't advise. I wouldn't advise going for Holly necessarily. Evangelo could also be a reasonable choice. But yeah. Evangelo gets bonus stamina, and he gets the ability to break out of grapples from special zombies.
I thought we said no.
We'll take
more
a gun
howling
so
up
that
Shit
our
Creek.
teammates don't suspect that we're being idiots.
Rover 2, this is Hope
Yes,
1. Do you
don't
copy?
mind me.
Roger. Rover
I
2
am
here, over.
Need all
totally
cleaners back
playing
in the Ville.
reasonably and normally.
Hard copy?
Yes, sir.
Hope 1 out.
The game chat is turned off as well, by the way.
Back. This doesn't feel like the way.
You'll note as well, so it's the spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead. That is definitely something upstairs coming for us.
What is this?
You'll immediately notice it's basically, yes, this is the spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead by the people that made Left 4 Dead. You cannot miss it. Where are they and what's happening there? Good lord. Oh, we can
See
take
anyone's
that.
name on it?
Need to reload.
Ever the Optimist taking the defib unit immediately.
Over here. It's your lucky day.
I mean, someone is already on half health.
Today's my lucky day. Which is good because it's been a shitty week.
Oh, that's bad. Ooh.
I need a shower stat.
Right. Let's crouch, get in front.
Did you see that?
Let a pro do
Go,
this, pal.
Johnny.
There we go. Kill him one at a time with flaming bat. No. Let the guy with all the melee perks through.
Hear that?
You'll notice as well that these are hidden around everywhere. Usually they make a distinctive noise, except from the times when they just don't for some reason. Don't know if it's a bug, don't know if it's just intended to catch you off guard. Could be either. But yeah, it's... I would have thought, honestly, with the card system,
All over again.
when they were giving them out, well, when they're doing them, you'd think that the first ones would be cheap, but then as you get through, they get more expensive, and instead of it being like 10 or 15 per card, it'd be, you know, 40, 50 or so. And then the rewards later on will be, you know, in the hundreds. But I would expect by that point that I would expect the rewards for survival mode to be pretty much where they're at now. But I think that the veteran and nightmare difficulties need to be really amped up a lot. I'm just going to get out of the way here, actually. Let them just fight, let them just shoot down on them. No need for me to get involved. Especially not with that exploder there.
Ding ding, we got a winner.
So I should probably go over Holly's bonuses as well and why we picked her. So as I mentioned, Evangelo might be a decent choice for this because he also gets additional stamina. I forget if it's stamina or stamina regen. You'll notice as we swing we've got this diminishing bar. So it does work on a stamina system now. It's not like Left 4 Dead 2 where it's just infinite and you swing forever. Here we go. Someone has a box of tools. So we can open the special door. And we get some money to spend at the shop. We'll be looking at that soon. And using this costs money. So this money we've been collecting, we can spend it on uses for the first aid kit. That's just one of the things we can spend it on. Other things include when we get to the end of the level, there'll be a shop. And we can buy some things. But you can also spend it as you go around. Sometimes you can find, I believe it's called the intel boxes. They're literally these boxes containing files.
Let's go, Dottie.
I guess that's the sort of the way of just kind of tying it into the lore. But yeah, basically it's you can buy cards as you go around.
Now who's running?
Ladders, my old nemesis.
You'll notice as well we're doing a lot of melee damage here. We're able to kill them in a couple of hits. And it's why even though the hatchets are absolutely incredible for damage, they are kind of garbage when it comes to being able to strike multiple targets. Because, you know, as long as you can kill them in 1 or 2 hits, you're fine. The hatchets are complete overkill for the zombies. Better to have the AoE.
Oh yeah.
That's the point as well. I'm going to have to remember that I'm not using. I'm not going to be using grenades either. The most I can really do here is just act as a pack mule for my partners. So we will be holding ammo and things for them, keeping it warm. You do have a simple inventory system. I can bring it up there. You can drop things. One thing that you can't currently do, which I wish you could. In fact, I'll just wait till this has stopped talking because it goes for a while. So one thing that you can do, that you can't do, sorry, at the moment with the inventory systems, you can't take mods off your weapons. So say you've got like a rubbish weapon, it's like a grey item, and you find a shiny green item on the floor, or maybe even a blue or a purple. You can't strip that, you know, really rare magazine attachment that gives you 5 extra rounds on your shotgun or whatever, and stick it on the new one. Can't do it. You would think that you could. You can't. You can't go and buy an attachment for someone else. The moment that you buy them, they just, you know, attach themselves like face huggers onto your weapons.
Hey, catch!
We are getting a little bit low here.
Slapping a
And
back.
someone's just decided to scare the birds. That's a special. I'm going to let them deal with it. I will point it out as well, even though it's a melee only challenge, I'm not, you know, I don't have 3 people I've been able to convince to join me for this. So I will be doing this myself.
That one.
They will be using guns. I can't control them. Not yet, at least.
See that, father? I couldn't.
Let's get you back on your feet.
One good thing about being down, though, when you've got a melee weapon,
Thanks.
is literally we don't have any stamina when we're down.
Uglies ahead.
So the moment I'm down, especially if I'm in a choke point when a horde's coming in, I actually basically go into ultra berserker mode, where I don't lose stamina for my attacks, strangely enough.
Shut the fucking door!
Need to keep a pace.
Hey, Cardi, I'm waiting.
Brilliant. God knows what they were thinking, but oh well. Anyway, I think I've accidentally gone off on a tangent twice about this now. I might as well, because I'm going to bring the card up in a second. Holly's bonuses and why she's the best for melee. She regenerates 10 stamina. It's not a lot, but it's a decent bit. Every time she kills an enemy. Any enemy, you kill it, you get some stamina back. Right? So when you're swinging and killing multiple zombies, it will give you enough stamina. Usually every time you swing and kill a group, it probably doesn't... If it takes 2 or 3 swings, you might get enough stamina to swing one more time back. It's not overkill, but it's something. We will be taking the melee kills heal now. So we've got good melee, we're going to get some sustain. Now you'll notice will be a lot more difficult to kill. On that note, worth pointing out as well, that my because I'm not spending my money, you'll probably find I will accumulate a lot of spare currency.
We're friendlies, man.
Anyway,
Come out.
Didn't ask you to be.
this is the shop I was mentioning,
Clearly marked.
so we can refill our health,
Just get what you need and get out.
and I'm going to buy some pain pills. So now we have full health up to the max, so that grayed out bar of the
Get enough copper?
health bar there, that is trauma. So that trauma resistance we get later in our deck will help prevent that. Very useful, especially on the harder difficulties. Yep, and all the ominous writing on the wall here. It won't leave, he's out there, why me? It will get you, when will it leave? You can't hide. And this. We're going to figure out what this is. If you haven't seen it, it's going to be a treat. I'm melee only, so... Anyway, so Holly's special, so as I say, she regenerates stamina when she swings, but she does have some other things. So, she also has 10% damage resistance built in. She's a lot harder to kill than the other characters. She also gives everyone 25 additional stamina. Right? So we're now building up a fair few cards. Also, each round we will see these corruption ones. This one is a challenge. Sometimes there can be nasty effects. We're lucky here. If we find the specimen jar and we take it to the end as a little challenge, we'll get 500 copper, which is the currency we were just looking at. We're getting some bonuses from our friends here, so we get 10% max ammo from Hoffman, 5% movement speed from Evangelo, and 10 extra health from Walker. Pretty much, basically. No idea what they're doing.
Another day, another dice with death.
Let's hope they actually figure out that they shouldn't hit the birds this time.
So, who's keeping score?
So, in the beta there are 8 chapters available. This will be chapter 2.
Need to reload.
I think it's essentially the entirety of Act 1 of the campaign. Each act seems to be made of a couple of chapters. Each chapter is about 4 levels. And as you can see, we've got the most competent, intelligent teammates. And even though I'm having a go at them, I will admit, the one thing you don't want to do with this game is attempt to play it with the bots. The bots are less than competent. If we're unlucky enough to have someone leave later on,
Here's to a
you'll
rest.
get to see them in all of their majesty.
Thank you for playing.
So,
Reloading.
basically, the bots are incredibly stupid, but they... Gotta watch out with this guy. He can theoretically
You're in big trouble once I get the bullets back in the
get
skull.
pin us down so we can't move and someone has to help us.
Feel that it don't feel good.
Those Left 4 Dead vibes are really coming in with this. Oh, we've got someone on us.
Get to the tunnel.
Why is it always me?
Let's see what you got, shall we?
Now the 2 options with this are to stand and fight,
Focus your fire.
or alternatively, we can run.
Watch out.
And the crowd goes wild.
I'm gonna, seeing as I'm not doing much else,
Low on ammo.
See that, father?
I'm going to run through and get rid of these commons for them. Seeing as melee and that thing seems like a very bad idea. Right,
You bloody
but we are doing pretty well.
Checking the car.
Always check the cars. Ooh, he's getting a bit... They should stop and deal with that.
What are you on?
need to reload.
I'm surrounded. Quit that, doofus. Or someone really gets hurt.
You'll notice we can still swing once our stamina's out, but it's a lot slower and does significantly less damage. It starts taking 2 or 3 hits to kill, and those hits take longer to swing out. Unfortunately, that bat is the same rarity, so it'll be the same damage. Eventually, because the goal with that thing is not to, it's not to kill it, it's to avoid it. If we simply get out of the way by making it to this door, it will just go away.
Doesn't matter right now.
Up to you, you can either stand and fight, or choose flight. Yeah? Fight or flight, up to you. Probably done the right thing this time, considering our current condition. I am not meleeing that thing. No, that is suicide.
Target down.
Right.
Just what I want.
We have nearly lost the third bar permanently now of our health bar.
Need to fix myself up.
Something to keep in mind. So, just something that I'm going to have to keep an eye on if I want to find a med station soon enough, but cannot guarantee whether we can do that, and my god, they all just stood there while a fat guy just blew them up.
We need to take care of that.
I got this.
What are we gonna do with you?
Greatly appreciated.
Right. Little pluses next to people's name in the bottom left, by the way. So, if they run out of those, they will die. That's basically, so Hoffman there, Romantic Grunt, is basically on his last hit now. Left 4 Dead 2 is a bit equivalent to being on black and white. Let's hope that the Evangelo player there is smart enough to realise that there is in fact actually a side door he can use. He is not.
Need help here.
I know there's one behind me, but we can kill more in front, so we will. Oh, wonderful.
Got you, Walker.
They decided to throw a Molotov at my face.
Not feeling
I was handling that, but
Ugh,
fine.
careless.
I took more damage from the fire than the actual zombies there. I am stealing these pain pills. Because I am really running low on that max health now. The game does see a return of the game director
Keep your
that was
distance,
kind of made
Yankee.
famous in Left 4 Dead 2 and Left 4 Dead 1.
So, we see
Basically there's an AI that controls the spawn rates of things. Okay, so that alarm door, you can tell it's an alarm door because it has a sign on it that says this is an alarmed door. They only go off if you do it. I know it's not like... It's one of those things where it doesn't make real world sense, but gameplay wise it would be a bit unfair if the zombies smashing through set it off, because that means you're being punished for something out of your control, so I understand the reasoning behind that. But yeah, you have to watch out. We've seen the flocks of birds, those are the alarm doors there. And these absolutely can and will just ruin your day. We are going to see something coming through here.
I've got this. Reloading.
Engaging.
Right, we're not going to want to go through there for a second.
Nearly out.
That guy explodes into acid. So there's 3 types of infected, the special ones, but each one has subcategories. So far, really, there's basically 6 enemies in the game. So the exploders, I forget like the proper terms, you know, but it's the legally distinct boomers, basically. There's the ones that spew acid at you and then explode into acid.
Nice.
And there's the ones that just run at you and explode but do bonus explosion damage.
clearing a path. Someone doesn't take no for an answer.
Okay.
So we're going to see the big guy come back here.
Hey. That must be crazy.
There is a very real chance that this is our end here.
Walker, look out.
Right. Ooh. best not as well to go toward that and try to melee it. Bloody hell, he's hitting me. I thought it was a zombie then.
I mean, I went to church some of the time.
I hope they realise they have to actually shoot that dead. Oh dear. Right, let's see if I can spare some ammo for them here.
Don't need this. Hey, busy watching my back. Don't need to be watching yours. See the ammo.
this.
Ammo here.
Kill the thing. Murder the thing.
Come on, what did I ever do to you?
Anyway, I'll tell you this time then. So, yeah. Another thing I will say, I do wish the shop, you remember when we were past it earlier, I do wish it would give more items to purchase. One thing that I find a bit annoying is we can have up to 15 of these cards.
Need to reload.
So we can have up to 15 cards.
You should patch
By the end you can end up with almost all of them in play. In fact, well, you can actually end up with all of them in play.
Come on, faster.
I think that's dead. Is that it dying? No, it's... But it is leaving.
Fine now.
I'll grab all this back. I'll just act as an ammo caddy for him. Right.
Ooh, that went right through to my funny bone.
So, the shop, it would... Because one thing, if you've ever played roguelikes, you know that the thing that everyone wants is more items. Like, the fun of the game is getting the stupid amounts of items,
I can almost see home from here.
and then just getting like all the weird and wonderful synergies and stupid things and becoming ridiculously OP and just smashing everything.
Final, it's got
And the game has to kind of like try and scale along with that.
I could have made the team.
But I would actually like to see long barrel.
Taking this.
Long barrel actually really good on a shotgun in this. They have surprisingly long range, and you can extend that to the point where it's essentially a sniper.
Need to reload.
Cover me. Reloading.
So yeah. I like how everyone else is being cautious. I just leap in and murder everything. Oh. I will say, as simplistic as the melee is, it is surprisingly satisfying. It is worth scavenging this area a little bit. There's usually some coins and things. Or ammo and weapons, you know, but anyway. We'll get out. I think the others are eager to go. I think they're all getting a bit nervous about the health bars.
Did you see that? Dream team. Right here.
You'll understand what I mean though with that trauma resistance now, because we're constantly being hit from being in melee, it ticks down a lot more. So the result there is, as you can see, it's vastly diminished compared to everyone else. Though I have the highest health at the moment, it can't go any higher, even though I heal from each melee hit. So that the actual healing seems like a broken thing. 37, that's... This particular chapter here does actually give a really good amount of supplies, but it is one of the harder ones. This is also one of the harder ones actually. You can speedrun this one if you know what you're doing, but I think you can do that with most of them. But it is a difficult one. There's a holdout moment in it, and it can get rough. So, we will be going with... I think that trauma resistance will be useful right now. It's starting to burn. If I can get that trauma back at a med station, next time round that health should last us a lot longer, which is what we want to see. You recover a very small amount between safe rooms on Veteran. The differences in difficulty.
Not doing so good.
Veteran, you take friendly fire damage, 35%. Nightmare, the hardest difficulty, you take 60% friendly fire damage. And you also... Wow, I could pay 100 coins for 1 HP. That really should scale with how much is missing, not just be a set cost. But yeah, the nightmare mode, you also get 1 less life. So those continues we've got, so I've got 1. Typically on nightmare mode I would have none. If I go down I die. You also take additional trauma resistance, so I'd probably have 0 max health essentially by now. They'd all have 1 life each. I'd have none. So I'd already be dead. But yeah, so the shops, I wish they would sell more. The one thing I would actually really like to see would be a few more weapons, a couple more attachments. Like, you can buy every accessory, all like the different items you can buy here. But you only get a choice of 2 weapons. These are randomly generated, sometimes they're melee, sometimes they're not. I would like to see maybe 1 of each weapon type and a melee weapon, you know, so 1 of every weapon type. Yeah. So an assault rifle, a sniper rifle, a shotgun, an SMG, a pistol, and a melee weapon. And then just a row of attachments. Maybe a couple of... We've got these team upgrades. I mean, having more options of those wouldn't be too bad, but in all honesty, these are very expensive. You rarely buy them anyway, so just 2 options is probably fine. But, you know, more is always better. I would like to be able to buy cards. Being able to buy maybe just like an option just in one of the boxes. Draw 1 card, cost 500 coins. Yeah. Maybe as well as cost 500 coins to draw a card. You could have it could have a random assortment of them as well that you could buy for varying amounts. So draw one of your own 500 or varying amounts. Draft. Get one of theirs that's just something from outside of your deck, perhaps.
Come on, new earrings.
Did you see that? What about here?
So, just food for thought, that.
Too far ahead.
Do that.
It always amazes me what you can find in someone's view.
Oh, I have just realised. Did that without thinking. Back to the bat.
Let's see what you've got.
You know what that is? It's because it auto-equips your main weapon when you leave a safe room. So I just instinctively went, oh yeah, guy, oh yeah, I'm killing the... wait.
You okay?
I am gonna... Oh, it does AoE damage as well, that one. So that one's a bruiser. So the others that we've seen, I think we've seen a crusher. But there's 2 variants of each again. So there's that one who has a weak spot on his arm that he drags behind him. You only get to see that weak spot if you flank him, or after he's swung and his arm's down on the floor in front of you, you can shoot it then. The other one is a grabber. He has another big arm, but it's made up of a load of like wound together tentacles. And we've got our first lever because they hate the fact that the birds got disturbed. Or at least it said they'd left. Ow.
Some assistance would be appreciated.
Is he not leaving that room? Right, better to do the dumb thing together than to do the right thing alone. Let's go and help him out.
Just remember me in your will, because I'll be cashing that sucker in sooner than later the rate you get knocked on your ass.
Much appreciated, Holly.
Get down here, you git.
You need to take care of that.
Okay, who shot me?
Don't worry. I'd never.
Red-eyed Jedi shot me. Evangelo, the git.
Well, what do you...
I mean, we're not keeping score here, right?
Right, great. I don't know.
See that? Don't disturb the bird!
Don't want to die out here.
Odds are not looking great for us here. But we'll give it a good go.
See that? Even I'm impressed.
You need to remember as well, I've got some pain pills for when things get dicey. Got to be careful, use them tactically though. You don't want to use them too early or they'll wear off too quick. That's the moment to use them. Because if that hits me, I will die. There we go. Oh, it's not down yet.
Sucks.
Not great. There we go, it's down. Now we're back on our ass with barely any health.
Much appreciated, Holly.
I don't know if anyone can hear me, but our settlement is gone.
So,
The infected have changed, mutated. I repeat.
anyway, as I was saying though, the shop, I would like to see some improvements made.
Survivors.
I think there could be a larger inventory for it. You could buy some cards there, because really what you're doing on these campaigns is you're here to see all your cards get used. The reward for doing it is cards. The thing that you get as rewards as you go through are cards. Everyone wants the cards. It is a deck builder after all. So, you know, more is better. I think you should be able to purchase some at the vendor there. And again, throw in a few from outside your deck. Have a row that aren't in your deck that you can buy, for the, like I said, for varying amounts. I think it would be much improved. We will not be grabbing the hatchet, by the way. That is a trap. As mentioned, it will do single target damage. Though it does more damage, much more damage, it will kill things a lot slower than the bat, because the bat will kill everything in front of us. We want to be going max AoE here with the bat. We only want bats and machetes.
Hoffman didn't make it. That one, Ridden 0.
You're gonna be okay.
Did he hit me then? I think he hit me then.
Greatly appreciated.
Right, there we go. Do have to be careful though now. We are coming to the dicey part of the level, where basically what we're going to see here
Anyone got a med kit?
is it is going to get very hard very fast. I'm going to get down here so they can shoot over me while I'm swinging. Also, word of warning, if you're playing with someone using melee, don't creep up behind them. As I've mentioned, it does swing a bit off screen to the sides. If you move up to the sides of someone who's meleeing, they will hit you. They won't even be able to see you on their screen. It'll just come up, don't hit teammates, don't hit teammates. Yeah, don't stand directly next to them.
We got a winner.
Handgun.
I will say, I wish the melee though was a little bit more complicated. Having played games like Vermintide, Vermintide 2, bit of that, it's... Ooh, we've gone. Red-eyed Jedi just hit me over the head with an axe. Killed by teammate, first death. We'll see if they make it. They can rescue me from a wall. I'll left for dead.
Taking this.
But I think I'm going to call it there for this episode. We are reaching nearly the hour mark. But actually, I might hang on here. We might be dead in a second.
You're gonna be okay.
Oh, it's not looking good. It's not looking good.
Muchas gracias, my friend. Out of ammo.
Oh, I'm running low.
Today's my lucky day.
Don't know if I'm gonna make it.
Good because it's been a
I
short
will point this out as well. On the harder difficulties, the
Just what I want.
so as mentioned, there's more. It's just more friendly fire, and on the hardest, you just lose a life. On the easy mode, you get additional health, additional ammo, additional trauma resistance, additional damage is dealt, and you heal lots more in between levels.
Keep moving, soldier.
Another one's dead.
Time to grieve.
So, Romantic Grunt's gone down again, our Hoffman player. But, as mentioned, so you do heal a lot between rooms on the easy difficulty. It really is easy mode. Now, the easy difficulty, honestly, you could solo it with the bots, as terrible as they are. But, yeah, he needs to be careful there, shooting at them birds. And he should not be in that train carriage with that thing. Oh, he is dead. Best play for Red Eyed Jedi at this point, personally. He could actually kill that. That one doesn't pin you, so, and his axe is actually can't activate the motorcycle jacket. What's it doing there? Did I just get a free card randomly? I believe I might have. Anyway, axes like that and the hatchet are really good single target killers. He could have gone and just beaten that brute over the head, but the thing is, engaging in melee with those anyway is dicey, so dodgy one. But yeah, the difficulty with the game, it does. Well, what will we pick? Yeah, I think just some sustain, more sustain, rather than difficulties. It's giving me more health. Swap away from the shotgun. Well, I suppose at least now that earlier shotgun kill doesn't count because we've had to restart the area. I am going to cut the episode here quickly while we're in the safe room, and we'll continue when I leave because PlayStation doesn't like to record for more than an hour. You actually have a hard cut-off limit of an hour. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.